The ancient Greeks were deep thinkers. They spent their lives trying to understand the world, human nature, and what it means to be successful. For them, success was not just about wealth or power. It was about living a good life, a life of virtue, wisdom, and balance. Their ideas still matter today because they teach us what true success looks like. Long ago, in the city of Athens, there lived a philosopher named Socrates. He was a simple man, wearing old clothes and walking barefoot through the streets. He did not have money or a big house, but people respected him because of his wisdom. Socrates believed that success came from knowing yourself. He often said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." For him, success was about asking questions, searching for truth, and understanding your own mind. He taught his students to think deeply, to question everything, and to never pretend they knew everything. To Socrates, a successful person was someone who was always learning, always humble, and always honest with themselves. Another great thinker, Plato, was a student of Socrates. Plato believed that success was about finding harmony in life. He said that the human soul had three parts: reason, spirit, and desire. A successful person was one who balanced these three parts. Reason should guide spirit, and spirit should control desire. If a person lived only for pleasure or power, their life would be out of balance. Plato thought that true success came from wisdom, courage, and self-control. He also believed that justice was important for a good life. A just person, he said, was happier than an unjust one, even if the unjust person had more money or power. Aristotle, Plato's student, had his own ideas about success. He believed in something called eudaimonia, which means happiness or flourishing. But this was not the kind of happiness that comes from fun or pleasure. For Aristotle, true happiness came from living a life of virtue. He said that every person had a purpose, and success meant fulfilling that purpose. If you were a builder, your success came from building well. If you were a leader, your success came from ruling wisely. Aristotle also taught about the golden mean, the idea that virtue is the middle path between two extremes. For example, courage was the middle between cowardice and recklessness. A successful life, according to Aristotle, was one of balance, purpose, and excellence. The Stoics, another group of Greek philosophers, had a different but powerful view of success. They believed that success was not about what happened to you, but how you responded to it. A Stoic would say that you cannot control the world, but you can control your own mind. If you lost your money, or if people insulted you, a Stoic would stay calm and strong. They believed that true success was about inner strength, self-discipline, and accepting whatever life brought with courage. The famous Stoic philosopher Epictetus was born a slave, but he became one of the wisest men of his time. He taught that freedom and success came from mastering your own thoughts and emotions. The Greeks also had stories about success in their myths. One of the most famous is the story of King Midas. He wished that everything he touched would turn to gold. At first he was happy because he became the richest man in the world. But then his food turned to gold, and he could not eat. His daughter turned to gold when he hugged her. He realized that wealth alone was not success. True success, the myth teaches, is about love, family, and simple joys. Another myth is the story of Icarus. His father, Daedalus, made wings of wax and feathers so they could escape from an island. Daedalus warned Icarus not to fly too close to the sun, but Icarus did not listen. The wax melted, and he fell into the sea. The lesson is clear. Success requires balance. Too much ambition, like flying too high, can lead to failure. The Greeks believed in striving for greatness, but also in knowing your limits. The ancient Greeks did not all agree on what success meant, but they shared some important ideas. Success was not just about money, fame, or power. It was about wisdom, virtue, balance, and inner strength. They believed that a successful life was a meaningful life, a life lived with purpose and self-control. Today, we live in a world that often measures success by wealth or social media fame. But the Greeks remind us that true success is deeper. It is about knowing yourself, living with virtue, and finding balance. It's about being strong inside, no matter what happens outside. The wisdom of the ancient Greeks still speaks to us, telling us that real success is not what we have, but who we are. So, what can we learn from the Greeks about success? First, we must examine our lives, like Socrates, and seek truth. Second, we must find balance, like Plato, and live with wisdom, justice. Third, we must pursue our purpose, like Aristotle, and live with excellence. And finally, we must develop inner strength, like the Stoics, and face life's challenges with courage. The ancient Greeks did not have all the answers, but their wisdom still lights the way. True success is not about the outside, but the inside. It is not about having more, but being more. If we follow their lessons, we can find a deeper, richer kind of success, one that lasts a lifetime.